question, some things I like to know as a mobile DJ. Should we be like taking our light show serious? Should we take it as serious as the sounds that's coming out the speakers? Should we take it as serious as our performance up there? How serious should we take our light shows? You know, and do we really think the client is really paying attention to the light show or the lights that we provide for them? And how many lights should we bring to a show? Is one light enough? 10 lights too many? Well, over the weekend, one of my buddies called me and said, let's go to this cabaret. Got there. DJ, you know, I'm a DJ, you know the habit we have. We got to check out the gear. We got to pay close attention to the DJ. And so I did. DJ was great. Sounds was great. He had the JBLs with a sub in the middle. He was running, you know, for the venue. Wasn't too overpowering, wasn't too weak. So that was tight. His crowd control was nice. Selection of music was nice. Blends was nice. All that. Good show, good DJ. He fed off the crowd right, knew what to play next, you know. Worked the mic a little bit. He did his thing. But me, I may be just a little too picky. The light show was crazy. And what I mean by crazy, it was like the guy had good quality lights, no cheap stuff, good quality lights, but I felt like he just threw them up there on the tree. He just had them just any kind of way on the tree. He kind of like, you could see nothing was DMX. Now when I say DMX, I don't mean as a mobile DJ you gotta have your stuff show expressed and all DMX stuff like that. I ain't what I'm talking about. But I'm thinking, should we as mobile DJs select the proper lights to bring, select the right amount of lights to bring? You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't remember, I think he had like 6 or 7 lights going. And the only thing I didn't like was they were just going everywhere. They were just everywhere. Wasn't nothing focused here, wasn't nothing, they were just going everywhere. You know, so that's my question today. Should we take our light show as serious as we take our mix show, our blending, our scratching, our crowd control? How serious should we take our light shows? Because I know I'm just getting into it, so I'm no expert. So I'm not downing anybody who just do that. I'm no expert. But I noticed, like when I did my gig, that wedding only brought out 4 to 5 lights. And the way I had them going, I just had them slave to each other. And I had 2 balls, 2 Charvet, I think they call them color strips or whatever, and they were all slave, and they was just on sound active. And I think the client really appreciated, because while I'm doing my show, I look up and I can just see people just, you know, doing stuff like that, just staring at the lights. It was a couple times I had to tell people, you know, hey, you shouldn't stare at those lights. Those lights are pretty bright. They could cause a little damage to your eye. They was like, oh man, those lights are awesome, man. They great. They great. So, I mean, that's the kind of effect I think we want from our light shows, that people just have to just stare at them. You know what I'm saying? I think that's how we can sell that. Because I think this guy who came out and probably upsold his light show, wasn't no one paying attention to him. The lights wasn't doing nothing. They wasn't sound active. They wasn't moving in no type of patterns. And another thing I noticed too, I don't know, I think some fixtures, you should get them in pairs. And he didn't have any fixtures in pairs. And then the ones that he did, I think it was the color palette that he did have in pairs. One was doing one thing and the other one was doing another. So it was like almost like annoying, you know, as the night went on. It was like annoying. So that's my question. How many lights should we bring? You know, like on my gig, it was one guy wrote a comment said, why you don't have a light tree? Because I think in like a wedding or something like that, you don't want to bring a light tree. You just want something elegant and something like that. And that's another question. Which light should go with what? Like my hip hop show, you seen the light show for October the 20th. I don't know. I'm actually, because I'm just getting into lights. So just like I practice my mixing and blending and do all that, do you think we should be practicing our light setups too? You know, so when we look at them, they look nice. Cause I have a lot of lights, and I'm trying to make myself as mobile as possible. So I don't want to bring like all 20 lights to a show and only use 2 or 3. You know, so that's why I select my lights before a show. Okay, so that's the question. Should we be taking our light shows that serious, or I'm just off my rocker? I mean, because I know we all trying to make a little more money in our performance, because right now we all know you can't sell you the best mixer in the world. People don't care about that really no more. You know, they looking for the best price, and they just, most time I get class say, could you just bring out something small? I just want to hear some music. They don't care how good I can blend. They don't care how good I can scratch. So I'm selling my light. Oh well, you want to bring some lights? But if people bring out lights and they not doing the effect that we need them to do, like I did at that wedding, have people at awe and people appreciating the light show along with the performance. Okay, so I mean, that's the question there. How serious should we take our, as mobile DJs? We're not talking about doing no concert, you know what I'm saying? Nothing like that. We just want to be a mobile DJ. And how many lights should we bring, and what type of lights should we bring to what type of event? I think something a little more mellow is for weddings and hip hop shows and cabarets. That's when you bring your strobes and you really hit them like that. So, but that's my opinion. I just want to know what you guys think. How serious should we be taking our light show? You know, because, like I said, we try to make a little extra money. And we have to, the client need to be impressed to reach in their pocket to give a little extra money. And that gig, this is crazy, I got $100 tip because he was like, I have never seen lights like that. I have never heard nothing sound like that. And then actually they do a family reunion every year in July. They had another DJ in July. They already booked me for that. I took this other DJ's gig and not underbid him or nothing. It was just when he came in, the guy liked my setup, he liked my lights, and he liked it. He was like, man, I ain't never heard nothing sound as clear as that. He liked the way my stuff sound. So it was a fair take of this guy's job. It wasn't no underbidding, no undercutting or nothing, none of that bull crap like that. And then the bride, she was like, those lights are amazing. What are those called? And I was like, you know, she was like, well, how did you get them both to do this? And how did you get them all to do that? And I was like, well, DMX, you know, then I kind of lost her. She didn't know what I was talking about. But that's my point, too. I ain't talking about using Show Express and using controllers and doing all this stuff. I'm just talking about, should we just do the simple things as put them on sound active and choose the proper lights for the proper show? So, because I think our lights is what we can sell and make a little more money. So that's the question too. How serious should we be taking our lights? Let's not blow this with just throwing stuff on a tree and just letting stuff go wild, because like I said at the show, wasn't nobody really even paying attention to them. And I know if this person, someone else here calling, she recommend him to someone, and then he try to sell his lights, she'd probably be like, well, don't buy the lights, they wasn't nothing. You know what I'm saying? So how serious should we take our lights, YouTube? Alright, it's your boy DJ Illusion. Peace.